Well, one of the nice things about having video editing software is that now I don't have to shoot everything all at once. I can show you progress as I make it. And I thought I'd show you guys what the issue was that I was having with the saucer that I noticed when I finally lit everything up at once. Now, the lights here are just pieces of fiber, and it's actually green. Even though it looks white on the screen, it is a green color. When I lit everything up, these lights here looked like that all the time, like they were constantly on, and they would just get brighter and dimmer and brighter and dimmer. This one didn't work at all. And then this one right here, it was so bright, the light was, that you couldn't even tell that the strobe was, the beacon was working. And that was really just a matter of light from the LEDs inside bleeding into the fibers. I had the same problem on the bottom side as well. So what I did to fix it was basically, I just split the whole thing open again, reluctantly. Split this thing open along the seam here, because I had only used 5-minute epoxy and some putty, and I just took some, I just took a little bit of this Vallejo gray primer with a brush and just painted over the fibers. Up to the point where they come through the plastic here, or the resin, excuse me, this particular piece. And I thought, well, while I had it apart, because I had it split all the way back to the impulse engine, so I could get in here pretty good. And I thought, well, you know what? Let me try to fix this little issue I had where I forgot to run my strobe light. So I was able to put a fiber in there, fish it through, and then ran it out the back, and you can see over here where I've got my light wired up for the strobes, and so now it works. Okay, so we're ready to start doing decals now, and we've got our couple coats of Future all over this thing. Got a old t-shirt here to keep from scratching everything up. Got some water, brush, a little bit of microsol, my directions, and a sheet that I'm going to be using. So I think I'll actually think I'm going to try doing the sides first. So let's see how it turns out. Okay, so the decal process has started. Working on the pylons here, and it's going okay so far. I need to figure out if there's a way I can to fix this big white gap right here. I actually have 2 sets of these decals. I don't know how I ended up with 2, but I ended up with 2. And I'm thinking maybe I can modify the other set and fill in this this big gap right here with this gray, and fill that in a little bit better. So I think I might try to do that. These ones here, the instructions say that they have to go on the opposite side. Well, the ones that are on the opposite side, which you can see one right there, I think, yeah, are smaller. They're shorter. So it wasn't really going to work, so I ended up swapping them around, and it seemed to work okay. So hopefully the next little update here will be at least one whole nacelle and pylon done, because on these I've only done the bottom. I still have to do the top, which you can see is bare. But that's enough for tonight, and we'll let this all cure up and come back to this tomorrow. Well, I got a little bit of a crazy idea here. These are the decals for the nacelles, And if you look at them, you can see that they've got the different spots here for the panels made out, because the actual model didn't have the raised or recessed panel lines on it. And there's a little bit of Aztecing going on here. But if you look at the pictures from the Christie's auction, it doesn't look like, it looks like there's more going on than what you see here. So I've got kind of a crazy idea, and I'm going to try to research this a little bit more, is to put these on, but I'll put them on after I put these on. These are for the round 2 version of the lower saucer. Finding a way to like cut out, like maybe cut out like this little square here, section here, and put it on the ship, and just do bits and pieces of this. There's enough here to do both nacelles. Just cut them up and randomly put them all over the ship, and maybe try to do some kind of a pattern. I don't know, because if you look at them, they're pretty busy. And but that's just an idea right now. I'm going to do some more research. This may actually be the correct way that they go, but I'm not 100% sure. Also, these right here are for the Bussards, and I can't seem to find a photo of them looking this gray. So I'm going to just check that out a little bit more and carry on from there. I think the main thing tonight will be like putting this gray one on and those up there. Okay, so here's what one of the nacelles looks like, basically bare. There's a few decals that are on there already. You can see the ones on the pylons are installed. And here's my experiment so far. So like I said, these are cut up decals for the lower saucer section, for the round 2 kit. You could probably do this if you were doing the round 2 and use the ones that were for the original AMT kit, which is what this is. So here's how it's looking so far, and it looks it's pretty neat looking. Now the next part of my experiment is going to be taking these right here, which are what you're supposed to put down over the nacelles, and putting those over the top. But I'm going to do a small section. So I'm going to take this guy right here, which is just sitting here soaking, and we're going to lay it down over this and see how it looks. Maybe it'll give it a nice weathered effect. Yeah, I don't like this. You can hardly tell it's there. So we're going to be taking this off. I don't know. I don't really care for the effect that it's giving. So I'm going to just take it off.
7 diorama 7x11.
I always like to have YouTube videos going when I'm building my models. Here I'm just watching an old video from Model Man Tom. I like the ambience. I don't know what to say.
Characteristics. I didn't quite
I enjoy it.
To research that for this video.
The aftermath of only the nacelles. So here is how they've turned out. I kind of like the effect a lot. This looks pretty nice. I am going to go back and fill in these bare spots with the other decals from the kit, from my other set. Got some spots to touch up the paint before I put these back ones on. And I've noticed one thing with these decals is that they will rub off very easily. You can see like around the corners. Come on and focus. If you see right there on the corners, that's just from me touching them. It's pulled ink up. So I'm going to take this little strip right here and just cut that thing up, since I didn't use it and I painted the nacelles instead, and use that to touch up those, because there's some spots up here on the front that also need to be touched up. So we got our little registry markings there. and there's no red pinstripe, which I was going to use the kit supplied ones, but they just disintegrated as soon as I put them in water. So if I can't find replacements, I'm just going to have to, it's just going to have to not have them, which is kind of disappointing because I really wanted the long one that goes along right here, but we'll see. Okay, all right, I'm going to tell on myself a little bit here and show you something stupid that I did within the first couple of weeks of buying this kit. See that? This is what happens when you let your excitement get the best of you. You end up with a partially assembled light kit. It still works, but it's in the way all the time. Now I could, some of you are probably going, well, why don't you just disconnect it? I am having a very difficult time trying to get these pins disconnected once I plug them in. So I've just had to deal with this, and to be honest with you, it's starting to get on my nerves. So don't do what I did, because this has been nothing but a big pain in the butt and just in the way of everything I've been trying to do to this ship. I could put it in place up here, but I'm not sure if I want to keep the same size rod that's going to be that came with the kit, or if I'm going to enlarge it and put a more sturdier, a little bit fatter rod through this here. That's the mount. That's where the this is the opening where the tube that you get to mount it to the base comes through the bottom here. Because the board slots in right there. So I've had to have this just dangling all over the place, and I have to check it every day or so when I'm messing around with it to make sure I didn't break nothing. Not a good way to spend, not a good way to treat a very expensive light kit. And so don't do what I did. Plan your build out a little bit better, but yeah, that's why I'm an amateur, right? Okay, well, I'm at the sink in my kitchen here, and I'm working on these big sub-assemblies for the big E, and I'm just excuse me, I'm just working on trying to get rid of these seams. I've been using Tamiya putty, and it's been working okay, a lot better than the Squadron stuff. So I've got all these sanding blocks here, and they're various grits. You can see I've been using them. We got kind of a coarse one here, and they go all the way down to this kind of fine stuff. This is probably about 600 grit, I would assume. I got these at Hobby Lobby. They were in I think they were in a 4-pack, 4 or 6-pack. I can't remember, but these work pretty good, and I'm just dampening these and just rubbing them along here because of the fact that they're that spongy stuff, so they kind of conform a little bit. And then I'm just taking a damp paper towel and just wiping this down afterwards. I've got this one looking, feels pretty good. There's a couple of spots, like right here, I can feel a ridge, and then even though you can see it, come on now, it doesn't want to focus. I guess it doesn't like me. Well, anyway, there's a seam. You can probably see the line right there, and even though you can see it, when I run my finger across it, I feel nothing at all. There's no kind of ridge or indentation or nothing, even when I drag my thumb and my nail across it. So this one's pretty close to being about done, and working on the other one now, so we'll see how that turns out.